under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This session of the Lincoln County Commission on November the 17th, 2011 at 10 a.m. is now called to order. Members present: Donald C. Whitten, Clerk; Charles McCann, President; Charles Vance, Commissioner; and Thomas Rainey, Jr., Commissioner, via telephone. First thing on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on November the 3rd, 2011 at 6 p.m.
Second.
Motion second, being all yes vote, motion carried.
Next thing on the agenda is discussion and concern. We have Larry Stutler with us this morning from the Lincoln EDA.
Welcome, Larry. Please, if you want to pull it out.
Thank you for the opportunity to address you. Today I want to talk about the coal bed methane severance tax. We were advised by Commerce Secretary Keith Burdett that Lincoln County has been allocated $15,188.52 in coal bed methane severance tax. In that it's over $10,000, this is required by code to be distributed directly to the EDAs of the respective counties. The permissible expenditures for these funds are two: the cost of preparation of land sites for any public or private facility, or the cost of design or construction of water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure. On November the 8th, the EDA board met with a quorum present and voted to use these funds for design and construction of water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure at the business park. And they voted unanimously to use it for that purpose. So the procedure for getting these funds are, first of all, our board has to determine a project. Secondly, the county commission of that county, in this case Lincoln County, would need to give their approval for the project in writing. And then we apply to the West Virginia Development Office for distribution of these funds. Today, I'm asking that the County Commission approve the use of these funds for construction of water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure at the business park. And second, I would like to ask that the County Commission match these funds for one-for-one for the construction and design of the sewer, water, and stormwater infrastructure. Any questions?
Could this money be from those timber sales we were talking about? I mean, is that what you were thinking of? Or is that
As the match. He's thinking of the match.
As the match.
Because we have enough in there.
We have money.
That would be up to, certainly up to the commission.
When the money comes down, will it come down to the county commission and it comes directly to you?
It has to come to the EDA by code if it's over $10,000. In the past, there has been some come to the county commission. If it's under 10, it comes to the county commission. If it's over 10, it has to go to the EDA according to the code.
We've heard the request from Mr. Stutler that his board has already did step one, approved the $15,188.52, and for the purpose of water, sewer, storm drains, and request that we match that in that amount. I'd suggest we just go $16,000 and make it even.
That'd be great.
Since the money's there.
And I'll offer that motion on the table.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Just a question though. Do you think this would have to be two separate motions because we'll have to send a letter to the state saying we approve this project, and then maybe in a separate motion you think it would be more appropriate to then say we're going to match it?
That would be probably good.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I rescind my motion, and I'll offer a motion to
I think the first motion probably should be to.
are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we lost you. I think, yeah, the first motion, maybe to clarify, would be to comply with the code, is that the county commission would approve to accept the $15,188.52 for the project that has been submitted for water, sewer, and storm drain.
So moved for that motion.
I'll second.
Second, and that is to be committed to the state by writing, right, the letter.
That's correct.
Okay, the second motion would be for the county commission to step up to the plate, provide a matching of $16,000.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that motion.
Motion and second, all yes? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Now, what was the total price on that to do that you were talking about the other time, as far as those putting the sewage in? Was that share of it?
Right now, the total price tag on that is about $250,000.
That's what I was gonna say, so we're still, okay.
And I have to say, being on the EDA board, I have to applaud Larry Stutler for his dedication, and I feel confident that we'll complete the project with him helping lead us through this process. So really appreciate the work you do, Larry.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Okay.
Next thing on the agenda is Francis with the I, Holton, for the local emergency planning committee.
Welcome, Francis. with the
Yes,
aye.
morning, folks. You all have copies of new bylaws that we adopted. Those are kind of a combination of, I think we copied a lot of Mason County, and we pulled in some stuff from Kanawha County LEPC. These were approved at our last meeting on November the 8th by the members that were present. There were 8 of us there, so, you know, and on that idea, we started out on April the 7th, our first meeting, we had 12. May the 12th, we had 16 people. This last one, we had 8. Our next meeting is set up for January 19th, and at that one, we will be electing new officers, which will be the chair, co-chair, and secretary. That'll be January 19th, starting at 6:30 if you want to come to eat food, 7 o'clock if you just want to come to the meeting. And right now, we do have three of the committees that we have in the bylaws that you all have looked at. We have 3 of those chairs. Jim Olecker is the chair of the Hazard Assessment Planning and Mitigation Group. Alan Holder is chairman of the Communications Committee. And for some reason, I got stuck on the drill planning and exercise. I'm chair of that committee, but with the size of our group, a lot of this is going to be, everybody's going to be intermingled pretty much. We have yet to get our critical infrastructure chairperson, but I think he's sitting here real close to me that is who we're going to get. He just wasn't at that meeting because he was sick. But anyway, that's what basically we want to get your approval on the bylaws, and then we're getting there. It's a slow process, but we are getting there.
Okay, do we need to adopt these?
Yes, you have to approve on them, sign off on them, and then that gets us really going again.
Okay, heard the request from Francis to approve the bylaws as we have submitted before us. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Being all yes vote, motion carries. Now I have the original here, I'll just go ahead and sign that and pass it over, and we'll have to get comments later.
Okay, that's cool. And now that I have everyone's email address, I will make sure all 3 of you will do it. We do have, on that, we have 34 people on our email list that are sent notifications of these meetings, so we should have hopefully better attendance next time.
You just hold on to this, Francis, until she gets a signature.
Yes.
Yeah. Next thing on the agenda is old business, the estate of Tammy K. Atkins McGrady. Couple meetings ago, a couple months ago, Tommy McGrady had come in and requested that he be appointed over the estate of Tammy K. Atkins McGrady, which we have her daughter appointed, but we cannot get in touch with her. I have spoken with the DHHR. They do have a considerable lot of money down there, and I do think that we need to appoint the sheriff over this estate. There are some outstanding bills that needs to be paid, and what the DHHR, what they would Of course, the sheriff would have to set up an estate account. They would transfer that money into that account. We'd pay the bills out of the account and then distribute the remaining to the heirs. So I'm asking for the commission to appoint Jerry Bowman Sheriff as administrator of the estate of Tina K. Atkins to settle the estate.
Have you talked to Mr. McGrady about, is this okay with him?
Well, probably not. I'm not sure. He was here, it might be one of that meeting you missed there, but
No, I remember, I was here.
okay, he wants to be appointed, and I guess looking into it, it's one of those cases where there'd been a long years before she died, a divorce, and maybe it wasn't smooth sailing from that point on. And we just felt like it, as we discussed it, Judy and I, maybe we should have somebody else to administer that money to make sure that things were properly accounted for.
And I have spoken with Mr. McGrady, and I told him that the commission was thinking about getting a neutral person. I didn't say the sheriff, but someone neutral, and he said that was fine, just so the estate could be finalized.
Well, I motion we waive it.
I will second that.
The motion second, that'd be an all yes vote, motion carries.
Okay, and Rick came in yesterday. Rick is at the watershed, taking care of some matters on the phase 4. And he said that he didn't know for sure if he would be here or not, so evidently he's not here. So we will just go on past his. We told Hillbilly yesterday he could come in and talk for him, and Hillbilly said that'd be all right. So Hearts Community Center.
I knew Thomas will be here, he may have something on the phone, but Tracy said that yesterday he did go to Hearts, and at the monthly collection, I think since they moved to that still once a month, every weekly, is the best way of doing it, and there's a good number of people there yesterday paying their taxes and checking on county business. So, anything you want to add to that, Thomas?
No, I try to stop in there at least once or twice a month, and it seems to be running smoothly, and it's a good service. People appreciate it.
I have spoken with Rocky Atkins. He is on the board there. And he said that, we don't have a caretaker now living out back or anything, and he said that it'd be best that we did it. And he was talking about that some major floor cleaning needs to be done, so if the commission would give me authorization to get that completed, it may cost around $500. They want to strip and wax the floors. You may want to hold off.
Well, I think we need to, there's some discussion taking place, and it's a little bit premature, but we have been in discussion with the superintendent of schools about taking over the Hearts Middle School once they vacate in the middle of the year. And what's going to happen to the Ferrellsburg Community Center, we're not sure yet, but we probably need to look into it and see.
On to McCorkle Community, the Sharps on here. Okay, Sharon, do you have anything? Lawrence, would you like to report on anything? Fingers were going to you.
I wasn't prepared for this. The meeting in November, we didn't have an open meeting, we had a phone meeting. And the board decided to cut the outreach down to 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Is that right, Sarah?
Yes.
Starting December 1st, ending April 1st. And other than that, I don't have anything because I wasn't prepared other than financial report. And the starting balance, $1,227.51. And we had a $15 refund to Debbie Arnold for the deposit. She went over the limit on the hours. And we received a check from Amanda Zimmer for $100, bringing the total back up to $1,312.51. That's all I have.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon, would you like to?
Well, the outreach is going fine. We're getting donations coming in every day, almost more than we can handle. And we will be closed 23rd, 24th, and 25th for Thanksgiving. We work Veterans Day, so we can take an extra day. And if the outreach goes down to 3 days a week, I don't know how we're gonna be able to handle it because one thing LPS doesn't have a key, they can't get into certain meals when I'm not there for reasons on there. And then the organ man doesn't have a key to get in, so he comes and he comes once a month.
Who's gonna help look after the lunches, clean up and all that if you're closed down those 2 days? That's the thing I thought about.
Well, we help the DHHR, we help workforce during the Christmas, and we won't be able to do that for down to 3 days a week. And the Head Start comes in on Wednesdays and has their meetings, but if they can't come on Wednesdays, they come on Tuesdays, well, there won't be no matter, they have to have a key.
That sounds like maybe we need a dialogue with Scott or something.
Is there a reason that they're wanting to do that? I mean,
I never got no reason. They never told me nothing, just that, you know, when they talk to me, just that be open 3 days a week, and nothing else.
Well,
There's a lot of other reasons I can tell you why, you know, just like the Christmas shoe boxes, we got them, I've done ordered them, done got them, and there's no way we can give all them out 3 days a week.
well, I'll pick up the phone and talk to Scott.
Thank you.
See if we can work something out. We may need to get together or something.
Okay, on to new business. I need a motion to approve the bills as submitted for payment.
So moved.
second,
Motion second, being all yes vote, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve the appointments, wills, and settlements as submitted by Donald C. Whitten, clerk.
Second.
Motion second, all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to reopen the estate of William H. Breedlove and appoint Helen A. Breedlove as administratrix of the estate to resolve problems with the West Virginia Laborers Pension Trust Fund. Bond set at $1,000.
So moved.
second,
Motion second, all yes, motion carries.
I need a motion to approve a donation to the county Christmas in the amount of $500.
so moved.
Second.
Motion second. All yes, motion carries. That's what we usually do.
You want to increase it? We're talking increase. We were late getting our letters out this year. And I do apologize to some of the people sitting out in the audience. I need a motion to appoint Aaron L. Wade as administrator of the estate of James F. Sawstridge due to the death of the current administrator, set upon $1,000.
Moved.
Second,
Motion second, being all yes, motion carries.
Need a motion to approve 2 satellite voting precincts for early voting, one for District 1 and one for District 2, as requested by Donald C. Whitten, clerk. Satellite voting will be conducted from April the 25th, 2012 through May the 5th, 2012.
Where would this occur? To community centers, those? Community centers. Okay,
So moved.
also,
motion second, all yes.
Which community centers?
McCorkle, Hearts or Pearlsburg, Hearts Veterans.
so really all we're doing is kind of evening out, as far as the distance people like traffic or spots, but
Yes.
instead
In the
of
We'll
sidewalk.
still have
And
your.
across here as well.
These just, I guess, a new thing, first we've ever done, but I think it will. We have seen down through time that by having the early voting over here across the street, that more people in the Carroll District, the Hamlin vicinity, vote heavier than anywhere else because of proximity, I think. So moving it out to Hearts, moving to Cortland, I think it's a good move on Mr. Whitten's part.
And can anyone vote in McCorkle or only the people of that district?
Anybody.
Same as across here? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a computer will be there. Christie may want to speak to it. But we think it'll not only, help the media in the area, but I think it'll increase the number of people who vote. I think encourage that.
Okay. Is anyone in the audience that's not on the screen? Okay, is anybody in the audience that would like to speak at this moment?
She didn't bring my notes.
I did not bring this report. It's on my printer.
Am I on there, on your agenda?
I'm going to let you speak at this time, so you can go ahead and speak. And while you're speaking, I'll run down and get his
Okay.
printer.
Welcome, Christie.
Thank you. Do this just so I can explain something here. With the satellite voting, I do think that will help to put that, that will make it satellite voting at each of the new districts. So all 3 districts will have their own. I have spoke to a gentleman about, we may have to purchase one more of the computer systems that they use for early voting. And so he'll come in and he'll speak to you all later on about that, about how we'll have to link them up. There has to be internet access at all 3 places. That way, if someone comes here and votes today, they can't go over there. It'll read that they've done voted like that. That way it'll stop that. Also, the next thing is, right here on the map, we made a precinct 16. And that is right off from Fez there at Duval. When we send our field crew out in that area, those people are closer to Duval than they are Fez. They're about 4 or 5 miles to Duval, and you're looking 15 to 17 miles to Fez. So I'm asking if you guys would take that precinct 4, bring that on down where that 16 is, and not do the 16. That little area was made, and those people are going to go to Fez and vote. But I'm asking that. And then the precinct 16 over here in West Hamlin after the legislative district and stuff, I think the 16 needs to go to West Hamlin. The way they'll be able to load the ballot.
Change the.
Yeah. And right now we just have all of West Hamlin together in that little area that's on the.
What is that number now? That the House of Delegates out of the Capitol, Lincoln. It was 15. They changed it to
16 now. Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking that would get 16.
Yeah, and because that little area of people, if we don't put a precinct over there, we're talking the Bear Creek area and stuff down in West Hamlin. Some people on the Dairy Road, the way that map went, it even hit a couple houses on the Dairy Road. Then those people are going to have to drive all the way over here to vote.
Okay, I think what I'd like, I mean, I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to do. They may not bother us. They may not bother anybody. But I know they're reviewing the redistricting that was done to the House of Delegates. So I think what I'd like maybe at the next meeting, have something in writing from Mr. Witt saying this is what we want done, and we'll get our heads together and make sure this happens. If nothing happens in the Supreme Court decision, not change it. I think it might be just wait a little bit before we do that.
Okay. Well, the ladies that were doing what we were calling the precinct 16 area, they've hit everybody but 2 houses, and I told them to hold up. If it changes, we will have to send them back to those homes to let them know that the precinct's changed, and there's like 28 people there, so we'll be able to do that. So I told them to hold up on that. As far as everybody out in the field, we're doing wonderful. I would say probably today and tomorrow and Saturday we should finish up at the areas, which I thought would take a few months. Our crews have got in there, they're hitting these houses, things like that. With them doing that, we have actually got to update, over 100 911 address changes. So it has been a wonderful process.
Just for the information, I know I'd heard this week that how many mailings did we send out and how many did we get back due to improper addresses?
Oh, we sent out close to at least 17,000 and some, and we've got back probably 4,000. Plus, there's more came in today, so I'm not sure where we're at.
Just due to improper address.
Yeah, and when that's like Alan said, we're probably maybe with our voting 30 to 40% correct.
And then, are we doing correcting as we go?
Yes. Yes. We have got to, the ones that's out in the field, they're actually going door to door, so they're getting every voter that lives in that house and getting the new 911 address. So they're bringing it in here. We meet every Monday at 9 o'clock, and they bring in all their paperwork, their timesheets, things like that. And then we start correcting it from that and have been sending out emails, resending the letters out.
I have a question, Christy.
Yes.
Has this process helped you to be able to purge any new people off the rolls?
Oh, yes. And actually going out to these homes and things, we've been finding deceased, moved, things like that. We've got to cancel quite a bit of people from that. One thing I would like to ask is, this process has helped us so much cleaning up the books. I would like to ask the commission if they would allow us to hit the whole entire county. If we've hit that many places this soon, we can hit like some of these other areas that I know we need address.
What are we talking about number-wise? If we already sent 17,000 out, we talking about another 7,000 or 8,000? I don't have any.
That we'll get back.
I mean, registered voters. Is that what you're?
Yes, but we have to see,
You send them to all, even those that we put in
right.
off the ballot.
Especially like, let's say the ones that came back that we don't have an address, I would really like to go see if people even, you know, if they're living there, if they're not living there, and get people in the correct precincts, things like that.
So, Christy, are you saying that if we decided to do the entire county, that we would not do any new mailings, we would just do door-to-door service
Right.
for the entire county?
Yes.
For the precincts that we're not hitting right now?
Right. And also, you know, and I've been out too in the field, people have really responded well with this. They enjoy that someone has came out. They have questions, we answer their questions, things like that, and they've really enjoyed, you know, getting to talk to someone and be able to give them the addresses. And we've also helped people, not knowing their address, you know, we're working with 911, so that also helps people in that way too.
You don't register any new voters?
Oh, yes. Yes.
How many members?
I would say there's at least 60 plus back there. I haven't got to enter any of that yet because I've been trying to get the girls that's back there, working, get them out on mailings when we get the updated address, but they're stacked, a big stack of new registrations.
Well, I think that the door-to-door service shows the effectiveness just by Precinct 16 voters informing us that they would rather vote in Precinct 4. So that will help us to do away with that precinct.
Yeah, I would have never known that. I haven't been to a whole lot of places in the county, so these outer places I didn't know, and so that has helped. And them calling in here and saying, this is my address, this is who my neighbor is, and that helps everybody. There has been a couple houses up on 4 Mile the girls couldn't get to, 2 of the girls couldn't get to. They need 4-wheel drive, so I've got somebody else going there now. There's like 6 to 7 houses up on a hill that needs 4-wheel drive, so we're going to get someone up there. But we've hit almost the whole entire, everybody on the 4 Mile side, all the way up. We've hit all them people. They're finishing up Stout Creek, and there's some people on 10 Mile, the back end of, if you go up 10 Mile, on the back end of 10 Mile, that's in that voting precinct 10. So we have 2 gentlemen back up in those hills today, you know, hitting that area. And we have a little bit left on the Sheridan side, a few houses there, you know, notifying that area. But we've about hit
So
all of them.
you think it's important that we move forward with the new territory, since we've got people trained and people working, and some's finished, some haven't?
Right. And I just think this will help. I mean, it'll help with our books being, you know, up to date. The address is up to date, so we don't have this spending money when we send out a mailing and everything keep coming back to us. If we have these updated addresses, I mean, that's going to save lots of money right there.
That hurts.
Chrissy, how did you originally decide on where to go to do your?
We tried to hit like the areas that were bigger changes was made in. Like that, we hit that precinct 16 area there. We hit 10 because a lot of people when that 10 was in precincts 27 and 28. We've even found some that was at Ranger that should have never been at Ranger, so we was able to fix that there. We had to hit the West Hamlin area with that new over in Bear Creek and the Dairy Road. Fall Creek, everybody at Fall Creek was voting at West Hamlin, and so one side of that has to come to Guyan Valley. So we hit that area. We was trying to hit like the bigger areas that, you know, the ones like Hamlin, for an example, it's just everybody would be voting at the high school, so we didn't hit that area.
And with the extension of this program, like we talked about the other areas, I mean, you know, I just want to make sure we're spending our money okay, you know, getting numbers, still getting numbers and not going, you know, have 10 people and only 7 people to see or something, or, you know, if we've already hit population, which once we get, you'll have a point of diminishing returns as far as the time you're spending looking for individuals and things like that. And I think as long as, but I think it seems like it's working well. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and to get accurate information is the most important thing, I think, and let these people know where they're gonna have to vote and things like that, so.
Right.
And you know, we sit over as a court of canvassers every election, and there's ballots that are challenged because improper, you know, address where they live, they're out of precinct. And the law says they can't vote out of precinct, and all those things happen, so.
Well, that's
I
like,
think we'll clear
if
that
someone would mail in their voter's registration, and they put McClellan Highway Ranger, and they don't give me a phone number, well, then I'm automatically gonna put them in the Ranger precinct. But that McClellan Highway Ranger goes all the way up to Hart, so, you know, I could accidentally put it, so this way, you know, everybody will be in the right precinct. The state, they're still working on their end. There's several counties that have done the redistricting. So they've got to figure out how they're going to move precincts and do all that. So once they do that, then we'll have training. They'll call in all the counties and they'll train us how to move these numbers.
But, and I have to say this, I know Christy and I have talked about trying to get updated addresses, and actually the poll workers at every precinct, when someone comes in to vote, they should name, when the person comes in, have them to say their name and their address, and then verify the address is correct in the book, and if it's not, they're supposed to correct it at that point, and they're not doing that. So Christy and I talked about maybe the next election, whichever precinct, percentage-wise, has the most corrections, offer them some type of incentive so that we can get the poll workers to actually follow through. And I know Christy's told them in the trainings to do that, but they're just not doing it.
How would that affect the person's ability to vote on that day if they give you a different address than what was in the books? I mean, I'm just, you know, saying, what if that comes up and somebody says, you know,
But I think based on what I've heard during the Secretary of State's trainings, as long as it's just changed from your old address to your new 911 address, but it's still the same physical address, there would be no challenge to your vote.
but you're probably going to have several that might be otherwise, you know what I'm saying, that might come up, so we got to figure out.
And I think, and correct me, Christy, if I'm wrong, but you've told them in those cases if they do change their address and it would move them to a different precinct, just to note that on the challenge form so that we know when we canvass and we can make sure that that's taken care of.
And we told them when they're filling out the provisional forms and things to put as much detail as possible on there, so.
Well, now, though, would we as a board of canvassers be allowed to approve that, to vote that, you know, approve that vote to be counted?
Will you be allowed?
You know, when we canvass those provisional ballots, you know, we have a set of rules we have to go by, because I know there's several of them that are kind of bad rules, I think, as far as being able to approve someone's vote. I just don't know. I'm just bringing these questions up so that when we get to that point, we've got to be able to follow our laws as far as the way we look at those provisional ballots and make sure that whatever we're doing allows the majority of those people to vote. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
why I think if we hit more areas of the county, it will cut a lot of that out. It will cut a lot of those provisionals out. We'll actually have people, you know, in the right precincts and things like that.
Because I think what you have to remember is even if maybe an election where people's votes don't count due to them having an address change, to not do that for that case, for that purpose, allows people to knowingly be voting out of their precinct, which is also against the law.
I think the out of precinct is more serious than an address change, but we need to be clarified on that.
Yeah, just so we know, you know, because we don't count everybody that votes, you know, that's legally voting. And I don't want to
If
get in a
it's-
situation where the law, just like with your son one time, wasn't it? We couldn't count his vote because he'd been in the military. I mean,
He'd been gone to service, and somebody changed he still lived in the same place, but they changed his precinct within Carroll District, just across the street. Well, his vote was challenged. When we were doing the canvass, the Secretary of State's office was here that day, and she said you cannot count it.
you know, and that's like the worst thing. I think for someone to serve in the military and not count their vote. I mean, it's one of the worst things that I think we've had to do. I mean, because it just makes no sense. I mean, and I think that I don't want to get in a situation, and I'm sure we won't, but I just want to make sure that we count everybody's vote that want to vote, you know.
Right.
And I do think the more accurate information does help in the long run. Just like you're saying, we won't have that problem once we get this information. I just worry about this first time we've changed all these precincts numbers and things like that, and people might wind up somewhere. I don't know. I just would, you know.
No, it has to be a lot of information put out there between now and May.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And one thing I think will help too, it seems like even in canvassing, if someone's at Hearts and they vote one precinct, sometimes we found them in the precinct right down the hall and wonder why. So I think also combining all of Hamlin into one and all of Hearts into one,
Good point.
that's going to be a really good thing there. I don't think we'll have as much, you know, little things like that. But yeah, we've got to let them know. And that's what they're doing. When they go out to their home, they have the list of the address that should be in that precinct. We got it from 911. And they actually will say, this is where you are now. This is where you're voting. And then they make me notes. This is all the voters in this household. Give me the names. This is their address. This is where they need to go. So that, I mean, that's just, it's just helped a
And we've
lot.
always in canvas, I guess anything that was wrong or that was perceived wrong in addresses, on challenge ballots, I think Judy keeps track of that by name and address and notifies them and tries to make sure they get the corrected address and all that.
Yeah.
So, but that's a slow process. What you're wanting is get it pretty much all done at one time. Do you have any idea how much money, you know, we got to be concerned about that? I know that we've thrown away, I know we've helped the postal system going
Yes.
under. I know there's billions of dollars in it, but it seems like we've helped them a lot here.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. Geraldine said she's, you know, the one now that's keeping all the hours, things like that, so she would know.
So maybe, do we need to give you authority today so you can start going ahead and
I would
work
like.
pending, you know, a reasonable amount of money? So with that, I mean, I guess maybe authority for me to sit down with you, Geraldine, and see what it is going to cost. And if I think it's reasonable, then maybe we can proceed. If it's unreasonable, we hold it to the commission we said at the beginning. Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion to authorize me to sit down with Geraldine, and if we can come up with a reasonable amount of money to move forward with the rest of the people whose addresses need to be updated.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, being all yes, motion carries. So we'll
Okay.
get with you.
And I have one more thing. This letter is from the poll workers in precinct 29 that they wanted to turn in. They come here today about wanting to move the polling place. I have left a couple messages for the owner to contact me there at,
Yeah, I'd heard about this one before.
and the poll workers have wrote that letter and Fez.
We were in the old Fayette school, but it's really a wood workshop now, and the complaint I had earlier, a year ago maybe, was that the wood workshop, you got a lot of wood dust.
Well, and it's not handicap accessible. I thought it was because I thought they came in from that lower end or whatever, and they vote right here, and you have to go up them steps. Poll workers, there's a bathroom in there.
So you
but-
already looked at it and all that?
Yeah.
Well, that's at our discretion to move that, but we'll
Yeah.
work on it.
And I know one of the other things the poll workers at that location pointed out to me is that the law requires that the voting machines be so many feet apart, and the room is not large enough, so it's in violation of that code.
I think we have a couple of those people maybe in the audience.
Yeah.
They're also on the work squad, aren't they? Out doing the work. And are you the guys that come up with and found the problem with 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had the voters coming to us and told us that they wouldn't be back to vote because the way they get off work, they don't have time. And the last few elections that we had, they hadn't voted at our precinct, and they said they wouldn't be back. They had been going to Duval and been challenged over there. And they asked us, you know, if there was something that could be done about it. And that's whenever we started talking to Christie and everything about that. And whenever we went out and talked to them, that was one of their big concerns. And those, just about every one of those 28, I think, that we seen was the ones that had to be moved to Duval, wasn't it? I think every one of them was, that we had moved them.
Sound like we should say thank you to you guys.
Yeah, the field crew people, I mean, they have been wonderful, all of them. They've worked together. We have the people going during the day. They're calling back in, saying where they went, so that way the evening people, the weekend people can hit, you know, opposite places of them, and it's been really good. You know, everybody's worked together, really good.
Anything else for the election that might be good?
If it's okay, I'd like to say something about that building. It's not that we have anything against the gentleman, but we have a lot of voters that come in there. Most of our voters up there are elderly people. And they said they wouldn't come back and vote because of the mold and stuff when they come in. It makes them sick, and a lot of them cannot get in there to vote, and that's the only reason. And of course, the bathrooms, there's no heat in there. The only running water is to the bathroom that they had. You can't wash your hands or anything. And I just don't think it's really sanitary for our people to come in there.
Well, and Mr. Baker has done us a favor down through the years.
Yes, he did.
You know, opening his business
Yes.
up, let us use
He
that.
did.
But we've got someplace else now that we can look at that's close by and not serve the public, then that's what we need to do. So you'll work on that and get everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on elections? Okay.
Anyone else that would like to speak at this time?
Mr. Easton?
I just, Carl Easton with the West Virginia Attorney General's office. I'm the field representative. And they've been gracious enough to give me Lincoln County to be a representative in. And wanted to introduce myself to the commission, of course, and give you my contact information. And that way, if there's anything that comes down that the Attorney General's office can help you with, we'll make everything available. And
Last time he gave me a card, he was running for office.
yeah.
I thought that's why he's here.
There's a lot of different things that they offer at the Attorney General's office dealing and trying to help with some of the seniors and some of the issues going on there. We're doing a big push right now to educate seniors on some of the scams and different things that are going on in internet safety and how to protect their privacy. And we're also trying to get some of those out into some of the school areas. So if you see any of those needs that would come up or questions that would come up to you or even your 911 centers about some of these scams that are going on, a mechanism to get hold of somebody to help take care of it.
So would you, on occasion, want to like visit the courthouse and have a table set up for an hour or something other
Yes.
to give out pamphlets or just share information?
Sure.
We'd be glad to accommodate that. We could work it in schedule to contact Judy, and when you're in the area, we'll work with you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Hey, Commissioner Ramey, are you going to talk about this, about Dave Lucas' request and Harts Volunteer Fire Department request?
You can. I'll just touch on it, but you can go over it if you want. So I'm sure they can hear you better than they can hear me.
Oh, you're coming in good.
Commissioner Ramey had sent me an email here from Dave Lucas. He said, I contacted Town and Country Foodland and got the price for the dinner that we want to have on the second Monday of December. The cost will be $133.88. We really appreciate it if the county commission would agree to pay for this. We also hope that you will be able to attend. Thanks so much, David Lucas.
And that's for the Hearts Crime Watch, and Dave is the leader of the Hearts Crime Watch, and they extend an invitation to all three of the commissioners.
Is there I guess a consensus to do that? We don't have it down on the agenda, but we guess we could under our business, but authorize Dave to go ahead and move on that, and then we can.
What is the date of it?
Second Monday's all I read.
That's what it says
They
here,
have a
second
time.
Monday of December, and it doesn't say time.
Okay. I have no problem with it. I think if you all want to take it, we'll hit it. I think the motion would have to be
Yeah,
under it next time.
Yeah, we'll do
We'll
that.
have time to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
that sounds
I
good.
guess I'll just go ahead over the other item. The other item that I've been working on, the Hearts Volunteer Fire Department, as we have saw in the newspaper recently and on the news, the fire departments in neighboring counties are struggling financially just to stay afloat. And our fire departments are always doing things creatively and working as hard as they can to have the most up-to-date equipment. The Hearts Fire Department has hired a lady to help them look at rates for services for someone non-county resident would be passing through the area and have an accident, then they would be able to charge so much for different reasons to those individuals' insurance. They would not charge the individuals personally, but to the insurance. And I know this is something that I think the West Hamlin Fire Department already does, and many other fire departments in the state already have this policy, and we already pay this in our premiums for insurance. It's just that in Lincoln County, most of the fire departments aren't taking advantage of it. And I'll for the next meeting, ask that we put the item on the agenda, and in the packet we'll have an itemized list of the services and the costs.
That'd be good.
You want me to go ahead with my report?
Wait 1 second. I do have something to tell in which Doc is on the Route 10 Coalition Board. Mr. McCann had me to contact the Cabell County Commission to see if there was any dates that we could have Route 10 Coalition meeting at the Cabell County Commission. I did finally get a hold of Rita, and she said the 8th and the 22nd were the only 2 dates that we could not have something there. But any other date in December that would be available. So it's up to you all to make a decision, and we'll contact everybody.
The day works better if you be in Cabell, right? Or commission.
Cabell County Commission Chambers.
Thursday, we've got first
It'd be better if I moved to December still.
Second.
Eighth, one of them, they said it could not,
Now,
right?
she said the morning, that we could do it later in the afternoon on the 8th.
We prefer afternoon anyway, because that's what the engineers are. Let's try the 8th in the afternoon. Maybe 2 o'clock.
Okay.
You have time to get in now. Route 10, at Cabell County Commission at 2 o'clock on December the 8th. You'll take care of notifying everybody. Call Cabell back.
Okay, now on to commission concerns. Thomas, you want to go ahead since you've already started?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start with, I just wanted to extend a congratulations to our friend Art Kirkendall, our new senator that will be representing Lincoln County. I was hoping he would be in the meeting today so that we could formally recognize him, but I just think that having him in that position, and over the last year we've had a void with Senator Tomlin, now Governor Tomlin, trying to act in both capacities, and now we have a senator that we can turn to that I believe truly cares about Lincoln County and understands our needs. And I'd also like to extend a personal thank you to Delegate Greg Butcher for his stance on the curb situation in Harts. As we touched on at the last meeting, the work that was done already in the Harts area leading up to the curb was helpful, but the problem still exists, and I would stand with Delegate Butcher and hope that the state road goes back into that area and re-examines and takes care of the problem before we have a severe accident that takes an innocent life. Since the last meeting, attended the local EDA meeting, and just went over some regular business. Met with the Harts Crime Watch, and they are requesting that we help them with 3 batteries for their radios. I've been working with Tracy Dempsey and Larry Stutler on planning another bacon, eggs, and business in the Harts area for the EDA. And we're working to secure someone from the Hatfield and McCoy Trail Board or the executive director to come and talk about future plans for the Harts area. And I have gotten several phone calls, in particular Dave Lucas, asking why we don't, or why there's not a sign for Fowler Branch in Farrellsburg. I think he told me there's 20 or so people or residences on that road, and that he thinks that, and they believe that without a sign there adequately showing that that's that particular road, that they feel it's a safety hazard. And I think that would pretty much finish me up.
Can I just respond to one of the things that Commissioner Ramey brought up? The Bacon, Eggs, and Business is scheduled for December the 7th at Skeeters in Hearts at 8:30 a.m. Our special guest and speaker will be Jeff Lusk, who is the Executive Director of Hatfield-McCoy Trail System. So that is done. All I'm waiting on is a price from Skeeters, but I'm sure it's going to be fine, and we'll go ahead with that.
Did you hear that, Thomas?
Yes, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
The only thing I really want to echo Thomas's comments concerning Art Kirkendall. I served with Mr. Kirkendall on the Hatfield-McCoy Board of Directors, and he was our chairman. And during the whole process of trying to decide priorities as far as starting trails and things like that, Art always supported us in our position as being one of the original counties that the trail system should have been started in. And I've been in meetings with him where I would say he stood up against other counties coming in wanting the trail systems ahead of ours, saying, well, no, that wasn't the purpose or mission of Hatfield-McCoy Trail. So I think he will be and has been a good champion for Lincoln County and what we need here. So I'm really glad Governor Tomlin did what he did. I think it helps us not only have a governor from the southern West Virginia, but also have someone in Art Kirkendall that really cares about the county.
Yeah. And can I throw one more thing? And I just, in regards to Art Kirkendall, I have to say that I'm proud of Tina Black and Justin Dempsey for nominating and going along with him being the recommendation, or one of those recommended, and I think that shows their leadership.
Okay, I'll pick up from there. And one of the things that we've worked on this week since this all took place is trying to do something, because you can hear that Commissioner Banks, Commissioner Ramey, that Mr. Kirkendall knows Lincoln County and he's a worker. So after this all took place, and we did invite Mr. Kirkendall to come down, and I think he's going to show up. Probably what the word I got was he wouldn't be here for our luncheon today. So hopefully at that time we can maybe present this to him, but I'll just read what we have come up with. Senator Art Kirkendall, Lincoln County Commission presents this certificate of honor and appreciation to Senator Art Kirkendall. The Commission recognizes Mr. Kirkendall's dedication as a public servant during his 30-year tenure as a Logan County Commissioner. The Commission celebrates his appointment as a state senator for the 7th Senatorial Districts for the counties of Lincoln, Logan, Boone, and Wayne, effective November 14, 2011. And just how much we think of him, the Commission hereby declares and adopts November 14, 2011 as Senator Art Kirkendall Day. That was the day he got appointed last Monday. So we're going to give that to him in a nice frame. When he goes into his new office, he can stick that up our maple. And it is signed by the 3 commissioners and the 7th Senatorial Committee members, Tina Black and Justin Dempsey. And moving on to some items I have down, a couple of them are just concerns, and it seems like I got too many this week, but I'll take time to do that. As you know, we received a $200,000 award to make our county commission places that we deal with to make it more efficient as far as energy. And at that time I asked Rick, of course he's not here, but that we sort of follow through and see how this has improved, if it has improved, what the cost of energy is. And so what I had asked Rick to do is audit and give us a report occasion. That's what I was going to ask today, that see where we're at. Have we been able to see any savings up to this point? We've been about 3 months now of working, and we should be able to see something. The other thing is, you know, last year we went through and we gave out some awards and things for people who had looked at themselves and said, I want to be healthier. And so as we get ready to start a new year coming up here, we always adopt goals, and I'm sure that in the goals that we come forth with in January of 2012, we'll have an issue about health. And what I think, I told Rick the other day, I was working on it, healthy focus is a healthy challenge. And that's what we're going to talk about. What can we do here at the courthouse? Hopefully that it will go out into other places. But have 3 things down that we'll ask people to look at and see what they think and get a little input, and then we'll have something ready to go come January. But what can we do about walking? More walking, not less. And the one that I want to make into a contest is, and the guys from the Mud River, I've seen a picture in the paper, where that they had taken it upon themselves to lose weight. So one of the things I'm going to ask either each elected official's office, something in that way. I don't know how to do it yet because the number of people who work in these offices is different. So it could be a percentage. But anyway, have a contest for the year, and how many pounds can we lose? If we need to lose any. My wife says I don't need to lose any, but anyway, but we know that with diabetes and all the things, and Dr. Banks can certainly enlighten us on that, but all the things that are related bad with weight, I thought, well, maybe we should focus on that this year as a key issue. And of course, the third, there's going to be 3. The third is no smoking. We still got to work on that, and we're getting there. We've had some people to stop. We've had people continue to stay off, and in my opinion, it's probably the best thing you can do is not smoke. I mean, it just seems like there's nothing good about it, I don't think. Just from saving money to saving your health. So we're going to work on that again. The Hatfield-McCoy, I did get a chance to, in another meeting that I'll talk about in a minute, have a chance to talk with Jeffrey Lusk, and he assures me that the project in the eastern end of the county is moving forward. They're doing, I guess, the environmental studies and things like that. And he said the thing that we need to be working on down here in Lincoln County, and I've shared this with Mr. Burton, he shared his ideas with me, about a trailhead. We need to be getting serious down to where is the trailhead going to be, and give them some suggestions. They're going to give us some suggestions, but we need to be focusing on that. That's what message I got. Just before I came into the meeting, I did get a message from Rick Saul and a couple other people that remember about 6 months ago, maybe longer, that we had applied for the whole Guyandotte River basin from Wyoming County to Campbell County to be declared a scenic trail area where we can start cleaning up the river. Well, we got a message this morning from Evelyn Cartwright that she had received notice that has been approved. I'm sure there will be some information coming forward on it, but happy to get that news because I think the Guyandotte River, as far as recreation, and we talk about Hatfield and McCoy and all that, has a great, just all kinds of potential there. We heard the other day from the Coal River group what it's done over there, and of course Mike's been involved in that. So I think that we can lean on them and at the Coal River bunch, and they can help us move faster and get things going on the Guyan. And of course each county will be responsible for their part, and but all of it needs to be done. So it needs to be one of those things that we work on as a unit, and the person I think that we need to pull in and get involved, since all those counties involved in this of the Guyan River fall in Congressman Ray Hall's district. We ask him to give us some support and guidance, and probably this day and time is not any money, but he might be able to help us do some things. I do have another thing here, I'll just skim through it. It's a nice written letter. And it's a young man, I'm not going to give his name, I'll share it with the commissioner, but is requesting the county commission to provide some monetary assistance to help him go to the National Youth Leadership Forum on medicine. He's a ninth grader, and he's involved in all kinds of things. Or was last year at Guyan Valley, beginning to it at the Lincoln High. And he says that, you know, really the family can't afford it, but in order to send a person to this, it's $2,645. And I got the letter, read it last night, and felt like, well, you know, here is a person who I'm sure that, well, you know, it's like Dr. Vance, growing up in Lincoln County, coming back to Lincoln County, serving as a medical doctor is a sacrifice if you don't really like the people, the county, the whatever. You know, there's a reason to come back. Well, that's what this young man's making a commitment to, that I want to be able to become a doctor, and I want to be able to be a leader, and I want to come back and practice medicine in Lincoln County once I get my education. So I felt like I should share that, and I'll make sure that each commissioner gets to look at it, and maybe at the next meeting we can look at it if we want to assist someone.
I think it's a real, you know, you know, you very seldom get, I think, requests like this from individuals.
Especially ninth graders.
And I think that and having gone through a lot of what he's gone through as far as being from a family that couldn't afford to send you through school and depending upon others, and you know, back when I went through, I depended on Dr. McClellan, so if it hadn't been for him, I may have not made it through school. So I think we need to, you know, look at these with with what we may be doing as far as helping the person come back and helping us.
I agree. I think that look at it as an investment into Lincoln County's future.
Well, it's, and I personally, I agree with this remarks of Dr. Vance. We're all out there, somewhere, sometime, we need a coach. We need somebody to just give us a little encouragement, give us a little insight, somebody to believe in you. It just doesn't happen. Somebody has to always do that. And many times you'll read where teachers do that, but there's always other people who do that. And, you know, maybe the county commission, as we've done down through other things, we have tried to encourage and get things done. That one of these days may make a difference. One person's all you got to do. Capture one. That's one you wouldn't have got. Just a couple other things. Coming down soon, you heard Larry talk about the methane gas monies. Also, and Judy may have already gotten something on it, but the concern I had was we are going to start receiving money, or maybe we already have, I don't know, from the coal severance that's to be focused in limited areas, not just whatever, not be spent on the jail, but be spent on infrastructure type things. So what I thought maybe we might want to do is we develop our goals again as we start into a new year, that we think about what is it that we would like to do with this new money that's coming we haven't seen before, and as it grows from 1% to 5%, well, as I remember the way the law was, that maybe we could have something there and we plan. Either we do it now or we hold it for a period of time and hold that money and do something bigger. But we need just to be thinking about it because it's new money, and just like when we started getting coal severance, this commission sat down that water was going to be the #1 thing that we used that money for after we paid the jail bills. And we've been able to do that, and each year we're able to do those self-help projects and a lot of other things in order to encourage water projects. We may want to do more on that with this. We may want to look at the sewer. There's other things. We just need to look at, here's a new piece of money. Let's do something special so we can go back and say, here's what that money did for Lincoln County people. I didn't know where Judy got changed or not, but one of the questions that came up at the Region 2 meeting I had last Friday at the Huntington office there was the 10-mile water project. Did you find out anything about that yet? I talked to one of the guys down at Region 2, and he seemed to raise an issue about the 10-mile water project that it wasn't moving the way it should be. And I said, well, I have a hard time sometimes remembering all things, but I said, I know I've told the public that this project was on the go. We've had the money for a long time, and at the contract had been awarded to Famco. He says, I don't think that's the case. So when I got back, I asked Judy if she could find out for sure, and we will find that out. But it's just one of those things that it seems like that the communication somewhere's wrong, because I know one of the board members there definitely had told us everything was moving on it. And it came back to the same issue that I thought we had addressed. I know we had addressed it. I thought we had resolved it. And that's where two brothers were disagreeing over the property.
Yeah, and I went up and looked at that area and also talked with the PSD down there a couple of different times, and I told them, we're not talking about the main trunk line going up 10 Mile Creek. We're talking about one piece of property owned by one brother that he didn't want the water, but his other brother, who's up in the head of the holler, his property, wanted water, and he's holding them up going up to his other brother. So it's not even the whole line affected anyone else on 10 Mile, other than the one piece of property with two brothers involved.
And that's what.
And I told, and my comments when I left Lincoln, when I left Branch Lincoln PSD last time is, you know, tell the engineers this is not the main project. These boys are never going to get along, and that's what it is. You know, it's basically a family dispute, and the one boy's demanding a lot from the PSD as far as what he wants to put water across his land, but the main trunk line itself goes right through the ditch line, and doesn't. And we're only talking about one person involved in this. I don't know what we need to do. I mean, if they're holding that up for that, they shouldn't be. I mean, because you know, it's just one private property with one consumer on it, and all the rest of the people are going, well, what's going on? You know, so.
I suppose they're holding it up according to Jimmy Dogs, but we will find out. Okay, I'll just down to my notes on the things that happened since the last meeting, and start with the Region 2 Plain Development Council, where I serve as the chairperson this year. We met last November the 4th, last Friday, and basically did a few things that had to be done, like making sure that the energy grant budget was reviewed and approved. There's still a couple places still working, getting that money spent. This is some of that stimulus money. Lincoln County has spent all of theirs, and everything's in place here, and several other counties had too. We also had to give final adoption to our budgets for Region 2. And one of the issues that was brought up down there that concerns the Region 2 people is that where are they going to have their office? They've been sharing an office with the Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of Commerce has moved out, and the landlords, I understood, it's not really being reasonable with the price, because they really wanted to try to buy it, Region 2 did, but haven't been able to do that. I know that Mr. Stutler and Mr. Coburn attended the meeting. I don't know if there's anybody else from Lincoln or not. The mayor of West Hamlin usually shows, but he didn't this time. But we had a good meeting, and Region 2 Plain Development is struggling, just like everybody else, on getting development funds. And that's what they do, is help us in these counties. And Region 2 is made up of Lincoln, Logan, Mingo, Wayne, and Cabell. So we, and the city of Huntington, and all of the municipalities in those counties. And that same day, earlier in the morning, we conducted the drug summit down at the library, and I was able to attend a great part of that. But they divided us up into groups of similar interest and things that we do in our work life, and had a lot of good discussion. Seems like in our group, one of the things that I remember stood out, and Rick planned on giving us a report on it, was we had determined in Lincoln County that it's no news, but it is news, I guess, that for years and years, we had a drugstore in Hamlin, we had a drugstore in Allen Creek, total of 2. And within the last 8 to 10 years, we went up to 8 now. Now, I don't know what that tells you. It's something that tells you that drugs are important. Drugs are a money maker. What I've been taught all along is that nobody spends money to lose money. They spend money to make money. So when you build these drugstores, when you go into business, it has to be profitable. And of course, we know that we got all kinds of issues. And what we were trying to figure out in our group was, is there some connection to why we have all this. And of course, one of the things that came up was is that doctors have to play a major role into the control of substance. And of course, another area that came up is that I think we're living in a day that pain is bad. Nobody wants to stand any pain, and so everybody's in this mind frame of, give me something for pain, give me something for pain, and after a while it turns into something else. But it's a serious issue, and I hate to, think about my grandkids and the choices they're going to have to make, and hopefully they can make good ones. But none of us know that. But we just had I got a call yesterday that Commissioner Starr's granddaughter, they found her dead, and it just hits all of us. It just matters where it's going to hit. It's always there. But we have to, and we said it before here, we have to take this as a individual, as a county concern, and each of us, if we could just do one little thing that would make a difference, then we should do it. We should not sit around and think somebody else is going to do it. We have to take it forward, just like where we're picking up the drugs that supposedly out of date, out of use, for the drug take back. I think that's a step forward, because we don't know who's going to get their hands on those drugs in a medicine cabinet or wherever they're kept. So we just have to look for other ways. And I really do believe that we are a creative people, and that we can solve anything. Just a matter of commitment and time. If you're committed to something, it can happen. It doesn't make any difference what it is. I think the mind can overcome it. But if you're not committed, it won't happen. It's going to be a commitment and a belief. Anyway, moving on through. On November the 9th, as a member of the Tri-River Transit Board, I did attend their meeting, and we had always said from the time we moved into the new facility, we wanted to review what was going on out there as far as the number of people who worked there, what their job assignments was. Did we get it right when we started? Because we moved from a place where we didn't have a garage, we didn't have much office space, where we wanted to see if it worked. And what we have come up with is that we need to tweak a little bit, make some improvements. And the opportunity, I think, has come. We haven't figured out what we're going to do yet, but we've had one person to end her working relationship with us, and that I guess the board is looking at, is there some way that we can get that job done, and she was doing a good job, get that job done without employing somebody else. That's about it. Now, I know that goes against the national trend. We need to increase jobs, but at the same time, you got to balance the budget. So we're looking real seriously about seeing if we can't move those jobs around, get other people to do them. And there's the chairman of the board from Tri-River, Mr. Scarpellini. But we're looking at that, and of course looking at and happy with as I've reported before, the ridership is up. We're growing quite well. And we've also got the Logan route moving now in the Man and Omar area, and the Mingo County people are wanting us to expand down there. We're already doing some work. They've asked us to come down and look and see. And at the meeting in Region 2, the mayor of Williamson attends that meeting, and Mr. McCormick, and he would love to see us do something down in the town of Williamson as far as transportation of buses and things. Also, on November the 10th, I was able to serve in a dual role as Poppy and as County Commissioner. I attended the Veterans Day program at Hamlin Elementary, where I have two granddaughters, and they sang loud and clear for me and looked right at me when they were singing, because I told them I'd try to be there, and so they put on a show. But really, the veterans that attended the meeting and program, and just it's super to see them, and gives us a chance to just tell them thank you for the job that they did, and that they continue to do it to serve our country. We should never, we should never slow down and do anything that would hurt the things that we do to show the appreciation for our veterans. You have people say, well, we should never have wars, and wars are bad. Well, wars are not good for sure, but wars are necessary if you aim to defend what you believe in. Because everybody don't agree with what you believe, what you do, what you practice. So it's necessary to have a strong Army base, Air Force, Navy, whatever it is, we continue to support. Are getting my age, are wearing thin, but they are committed to what they fought for, is to protect this country. And what we share here today is a thank you to them. Also on this week, November the 14th, I attended the Quarter G Land Use Forum, and we started this with the idea of looking at what could we do in these coal fields as to how to best use the land once the surface mining has stopped. And we've had lots of dialogue on that, lots of people come in, lots of people giving their views. I thought this last meeting, of course Larry did attend that too, that the idea that a young man had been gone from here and come back, well qualified, well educated young man, said, well, let's do something creative with this land. We thought we'd already covered everything. Like I said a while ago, set your mind to it, you can come up with new things. What he has come up with is, let's take some of these old sites that we have deserted, that we've left, the mountaintop removals, and fill them with, let's be green. When you go there and say, well, we're going to remove the coal, we're going to put back the land, not to maybe the contour, but where it can be used for other things. We've always thought about high schools and malls and housing and all that. Those are good. I mean, there's a big need to get housing out of the flood and all that. But this young man, and Larry may want to pitch in on this, he wanted, and he's doing some of it, got the knowledge and the background to do it, is develop solar panels and put them in all these places that you can't put anything else that may be far out there. It's not, you know, no need to put a strip mall out there. Maybe not even used to put a housing out there, but you still got this territory. So take that and be able to put the solar panels in, and then you've taken something, you've taken energy out of the ground, but you're putting energy back, maybe cleaner. So he's got this all going, and it was even the people, the co-opers and people who were there had not heard of this yet, were very interested, and it just seemed like it was a good thought. Larry, you got?
I agree, and the reception that he got among the attendees was tremendous. You have a lot of gifted speakers at that particular forum, and all of them were impressed by this idea and his grasp of the idea. And essentially, when he's talking about the solar energy, he was suggesting we could probably use that for ourselves, since we're a large exporter of power, and then sell our residual power on the open market at higher prices. And I mean, he had it figured out to a science, and I think that the reception he got, it was a great idea. And he also mentioned that it may help with the EPA. The EPA is very strict, and sometimes we in the coal-producing country feel perhaps they're a little oppressive. But he said this would be a good way to use your application process. Look, we're going to remove the coal, but we're going to put back green energy. Kind of negates their argument.
Right. What was it? He had spent, what, 4 or 5 years in
China,
somewhere in
Taiwan,
Orient.
somewhere. It was Far East.
Yeah, and he said, of course, he's got a degree in, I started saying accounting, but it's something else. But he's a smart young guy. But he seemed, I guess he left this country, had that chance to work there, and took what he could get from that, but he wanted to come back to West Virginia, to his home state, and put his skills to work. And so it's good to hear.
And it's very encouraging when you see these young people that have accomplished something like that and had those experiences come back and dedicate themselves to forwarding our state. I know as someone older than that, it makes me feel great, and I have a good, an even better outlook for the future once you hear these young people speak.
They give you hope.
They do.
And Tommy Adkins, the Quarter G director, is supposed to be in here now. But he did say he was gonna put all this on his website, the topics and some detail and stuff, so if anybody wants to read up on it, it'll be there, I'm sure.
Some of those sites are, very minimal wind turbines too.
Right, exactly.
Out west, they're everywhere.
Yeah. And, one of the things I thought maybe that I'd mentioned to Tommy, and of course Larry, maybe take it back to him, but he'd been here, that maybe that, we start talking more on land use, but also more on a energy conference. How can this area of coal that we've been dependent upon, maybe we need to think about looking at more energy things, and each year have somebody come in and speak to us about what is it, we can do to move from here to there. So the only other thing is this morning I certainly was pleased to have the opportunity to go to West Hamlin in the Read to Me program and read to some second graders, and we had a great time, and they were very attentive. I read the story of Hansel and Gretel, and they got into that. One little boy said, well, I don't think I like part of that, and that's where the witch was going to try to cook the boy. And
that would always bother me too.
But I did, I told them if they would be attentive, ask some questions, and do that, I had a reward for them. So I did, before I left home, got into my little, where I threw my money in the evening, and took out about 25 quarters, and gave each kid a quarter and said, gave it to them. Of course, they already figured out, I'm going to spend this, and I said, but now the deal is, I'm giving you this quarter, you can't spend it till you graduate from high school, and it has to be spent on you going to get more education. This is your educational fund we've started today. So I left it at that. That's all I had.
Anything else?
Well, I do have one thing here that I never like to have an executive session. We haven't ever had very many. But I do have a proposal, I guess, where we made an offer to the church across the street, Trinity, United Methodist Church, and Trinity trying to come together. And we made a proposal to them. They've sent a letter, just got it last night in the House, a counter proposal, and they would like for us to take that under consideration. So it's not a hurry deal, but it might be one of those things that you need to look at. Maybe I can just let Dr. Banks read the letter, the highlights of it, and then call Mr. Ramey rather than go into executive session. I really don't like those. So, but you need this information so at a meeting coming in the future, we can decide what we're going to do. I don't think they want the information out there.
Yeah, I'm okay, Charles, if you want to share the letter with him and just call me with the details.
Okay. Yeah, the figures on the thing. The rest of it's interior. Okay.
While he's doing that, Charles, you guys were talking about health, on the topic of health. The American Cancer Society is coming to Lincoln County, and they're going to do a relay for life. So I challenge you guys to have a team, and the relay is May the 18th.
May 18th. I can nominate somebody, I'm sure.
You get to walk all night long.
Yeah, that'd be exciting.
And they do this, and I know you all heard them, but my church actually sponsors a team that does that too. In Cabell County.
So will we get somebody to contact us and we'll go from there? Anything else for the good of the group? Always thinking something after I leave. Judy said, are we going? I told her earlier I have a problem with the schedule, and so with nothing else, we'll talk about that on the meeting in December. We'll ask that maybe we not have the first meeting, just have the 15th meeting. I'll put that at the bottom of the paper. If there's something comes up that we really need, then we can call maybe something special, but it's going to be difficult to pull off of the first meeting. So if there's something that needs to be, we'll call a special, but it can't be on the regular scheduled meeting day. But if it's okay, then we'll just do the 15th meeting for December, and that would be it. Is So that's when we get ready to adjourn today, that's what we'll be adjourning to, the 15th, which will be a day meeting, and will be our Christmas dinner meeting. And then the next day is the kids' Christmas. Okay, anything else? If not, motion to adjourn until the 15th at 10 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
We stand adjourned.